for the best, prepare for the worst. For Metro, dealing with anything that may come their way requires preparation. Today in Behind the Badge, we are getting an inside look at how the agency trains for an active shooter situation. Sergeant Miguel Garcia and Sergeant Justin Van Ness join us now. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning, Alyssa. And that saying that you have there, right, it's so accurate. You want to prepare for the worst day, right?
Yeah.
And you know, we say something in the military and with us here is you always sink down to the level of training that you have, right? So the better you train, the better your response is going to be in a stressful situation. And
unfortunately, we live at a time where we've seen multiple, I mean, you guys are training for active shooter situations, for acts of terror. We've seen it in the news, and it seems like it's happening more and more often. And so that's where this training comes in, Sergeant. And talk to us about how Metro prepares for things that we've seen or things that have yet to be seen.
Absolutely. So on our agency, we're training all the time. So it's important to know that it's not after one of these horrific incidents happens, it's all the time we're doing this training, every single day. As a matter of fact, here in just a couple hours at our training center, multiple agencies will come together under one roof and go through a training that occurs every single day.
Okay.
So we dedicate resources. We're very fortunate in the sense we have a dedicated section on our department that's been there since 2009 to make sure that we have that training all the time. And just as you said, hope for the best, but we have to prepare for the worst all the time, and that's what we're doing day in and day out.
Okay, so I like what you said there. It's not just after one of these events comes to light that you get on it and start training. This is happening every single day and with multiple agencies, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're very fortunate in this valley with our programs that we have in place is that every law enforcement agency and our fire and medical services have come together in the MACTAC section to ensure that we have that collaboration.
And what is MACTAC? What does that stand for?
MACTAC is the Multi-Assault Counterterrorism Action Capabilities.
Okay.
It's a mouthful.
It is.
But essentially it's the valley-wide program that brings all of the partner agencies in together. Because ultimately, like we saw on 1 October, it's going to take every agency working together.
Right.
We just want to make sure we have that seamless and timely response.
Right, and we wish we didn't have a local example of how your training comes to action in real life. Unfortunately, we do. You guys trained for that, and you have been training and learning since that event.
Absolutely. The best way that we could honor those that lost their lives in that event is to make sure that we're always getting better all the time. So we take the time that we can and we learn from lessons not just here, but throughout the world. And we do case studies and we make sure that we're always making changes and adapting and getting better.
Are all officers trained for this type of response?
Yes, they are. The training that our section provides is mandatory and begins in the academy.
Oh, okay.
So before one of our recruits even graduates and takes an oath and gets their badge, they come through our section for the training.
And you guys have a relatively new facility that you use for this training as well, right?
We do. The sheriff's vision was, as I said before, to make sure we had multiple agencies that had a place that they could all train under the same roof. And that really just aids to our abilities. It makes it easier when we're bumping elbows and we're in the same building where we can collaborate and come up with different types of training and make sure that we're pushing that out to everybody.
And even though we have that wonderful building, it is important for us to understand the layout of certain buildings.
Yeah.
So that's why we also, do collaboration with our private sector to ensure that we are doing those high rises. As we saw in 1 October, that was a completely different type of active shooter.
Right.
He was up in an elevated position and it was difficult to get to him. So it's important for us to learn from that, and moving forward, we have all that training with private sectors as well.
And do the private security from, let's say, the Strip resorts come and join your training as well?
We collaborate with private security on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, we just had a property on Las Vegas Boulevard, one of the major properties where we conducted a full-scale exercise, because we work with those agencies or with the private security to really look at what that response looks like when police arrive on property during an incident. So pretty much on a daily basis, we're working with those entities as well.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for giving us some insight into MACTAC. I won't even try to say the full name of it, but thank you both
Absolutely.
for coming
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, and if you have a question for Metro, send us an email to behindthebadge@fox5vegas.com. We'll go